family, and I think that's what we really were. I mean, they talk about the Pirates being a family. I think the New York Mets in '86 were definitely a family.
You're talking about a confident player. He was a confident player. But tell a story when you first signed about if I did not hit 300. Finish the story.
If I didn't hit 300 my first year that I signed, I said I'd give my bonus back.
Really?
I hit 328.
I don't think the guys today.
That's gutsy.
No, they won't do that today. They're scared to do that today.
Would you have done it then?
No, I wouldn't do it now if I had to do it over again.
Hey, Wally, you came up the same week. Mookie Wilson, Hubie Brooks. That was a lean time for this organization. He was a mainstay on that club. How many people would come out to those games here at Shea?
When we first came up to
like
the big
1980,
leagues?
81.
Well, they try to say 5,000. If there was 500, I think there was more ushers in the stadium than there was fans.
That's why. And now
it was a tough time.
Yeah.
It was a tough time.
It was a very tough time.
You know,
very
you want to go out and you want to play, and you look up and you see 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. But it was different. It was different. But it was that touchy feely where the fans felt like you were part of their family. Hey, I know you. I'm going to see you next week at dinner because you knew him so well.
Exactly.
Wally, you're managing now. You hope to get to the big league level one day. You're in sportscasting, right, Ron? I mean, you went into this business.
I still do games for the Zephyrs
right?
in New Orleans.
Even though the Mets are now going to Buffalo, the Zephyrs remain.
We're affiliated with the Marlins, and that's a good organization. They'll send us some talent.
I wouldn't say that today, but
yeah.
I know what you mean. I'm not rooting for them.
We're going to say goodbye to you guys. You can get in for all the parties, festivities, and one of your teammates, in fact, the guy you platooned with at second base, Tim Tuffle, standing by with our Chris Cotter on the red carpet.
To stay dry. They got to get this game in. This is a big game. It's meaningful.
Well, huge game. It's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching as well. But, we got to take care of business today.
You know a little something about playing in a big game like this late in the year. I mean, what type of pressure is on these guys today?
Well, right now they're just looking at the weather. They're wondering, they're getting prepped. They're going down to the cage, getting ready for the game. But, they're nervous. They got butterflies in them. They want to get the game started, get it on time, and get after it and see what happens.
This might be a really dumb question, Tim, but what's your fondest memory of Shea Stadium here?
Well, Jesse Orozco throwing his glove up in the air is the fondest memory. Personally, I had a grand slam, pinch hit grand slam, home run in the extra innings. That would be my own personal, but to win as a team is the greatest feeling.
What about these fans here at Shea Stadium? Over the years, I've talked to a lot of the former players. They say that was really the X factor. See, for many years, teams were afraid to come in here and play with these fans.
Well, the fans were just unbelievable. They loved us. They expected a lot from us, and we delivered. So that was the best part of it. But they definitely keep you accountable, and they hold your feet to the fire.
Are you going to be sad to see the old girl go?
Well, yeah, but you know what? It's a new time and a new era, and it's going to be a lot of fond memories from Shea Stadium. But there's going to be a lot of memories built up in the new stadium as well.
Tim, good to see you. Enjoy the day.
It's great. Thank you.
All right, Matty, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris Cotter, Tim Tuffle, and Chris Cotter as Naz tries to negotiate his little power cord here. All right, I think you're good.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, I think we're...
Thanks, pal.
We're welcoming in two more guests. Look at these guys. You got Robin Ventura and Jesse Orozco. I mean... two guys who played World Series here. The stars keep rolling off the bus. Jesse, there's a spot in the pen open. Are you good?
Yeah. He's good.
He's good.
He's always good.
What's it like to be back here? What are you thinking?
Oh, this is great. I mean, to come back here, obviously the energy of today and the emotions of the last day, but it's great just to, the fans and seeing all the guys that have played here. It's a lot of fun.
What's your standout memory here? You guys made it to the World Series, came up a little short to his former team. What was about that season, 99 and 2002? Very good team.
Yeah, I mean, 99 was a lot like this one. I mean, we went into our last day needing to win and very similar things with weather and things like that. So it brings back a lot of good memories, to be able to do that.
And there's a guy that I he came up in 1979 when he got traded for Jerry Kuzman, and I know you didn't shave back then.
No, I know.
It was kind of special.
It took this long to get this.
And you were overwhelmed coming into the Mets right there, and you did a great job. You can't start it out as a starter.
Yes, thank you. In fact, I was just talking to Jerry, and we were just reminiscing over me being that player to be named later. And he was going, how did you get all those years? Well,
Did
it
you
was
think
just very fortunate.
Can you think that you played 24 years? How do you think about that?
You know, I don't even ask questions. I just was happy to do it.
A quarter century. And from what I understand, we're just hearing that your mitt just landed on the pitcher's mound. It just finally came down.
Well, hopefully somebody can throw it up again today.
I'm going to tell you a little story about Robin. When you were with the Mets, you got traded to the Yankees. And I was driving home from, I don't know, I was playing golf, who knows what I was doing. And I hear on the radio that the Mets make a deal with the Yankees to trade Robin Ventura to the Yankees. And as I'm driving, I stop and pull the car over, and I call you up on the phone. And I'm not too sure he was excited. He wasn't excited that he got traded. And I said, I stopped on the side of the road, and I said, Robin, let me tell you something. We're excited that you're going to come. And I think you're going to come and hit 30 home runs when you come to the Yankees. And he says, I don't know about that. And you wind up hitting what, 28.
That was close.
28.
He kept count. He kept count.
I kept counting. I said, come on, you got to get swing. 2 more you need. 2 more. But you had a pretty good year, my friend.
It was a good year. It was a good year.
It was fun.
Yeah. Some of those were against me.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Actually, I got a question for you here, and that is when Keith Hernandez came over to you in Houston, I think Kevin Bass was coming up, Game 6, and talking on the mound. What did he say to you? Because we know his version. What's your version?
First of all, they knew
I was like that.
I'm trying to find a good way at this, but well, they knew I was getting tired. My arm was it was pooped at that time. It was I did extend the game with the home run, and so they came up to me and said, Jess, you have nothing left. You need to go to the curveball. And one guy is saying you need to mix in fastball, curveball. So Gary and Keith started kind of saying, hey, if you make him throw that pitch, I'm going to kill you. If you make him throw that pitch, I'm going to kill you. So I'm like in the middle like, oh, God, what do I do?
And as we're going to let you guys get back in there, but if the tarp's on, you're going to do a Piazza impersonation for us today?
I know. There was a lot of guys talking me into that last night. So I'm a little, I don't know if I have the moves anymore, but I'm going to have to. Mike's here. I got to go ahead and.
We won't know if it's you or him.
Yeah, well, you will. You will.
Robin and Jesse, guys, thanks so much. Enjoy the day. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
This is exciting.
A couple of world champions are on the way. We have one here. We have 2 here, actually. And we have Tom Seaver and Dwight Gooden going to join us right here. Capital One Bank, pregame live, the franchise, and the doctor in the house. Come on back.
October 19th, 2006. The Mets hosted the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 7 of the League Championship Series. The game was tied at 1 in the top of the 6th inning when Endy Chavez made one of the most memorable plays in postseason history.
Back goes Chavez, back near the wall, leaping, and he made the catch! He took a home run away from Roland! Endy Chavez saved the day!
SNY, your TV home of the 2008 New York Jets. With exclusive coverage of Mangini's press conference.
On Jets Open Mic.
Detailed analysis of upcoming games.
With Jets Extra Point.
Questions answered by the men in charge.
First and Goal with Mike Tannenbaum.
Plus, immediately after every Jets game.
Jets Post-Game Live.
SNY, your year-round TV home of the New York Jets.
It's the New York Sports here.
Are you a good neighbor? Will you be the first line of defense when emergency or disaster strikes? Well, we're looking for a few good neighbors. Along with gratitude and respect, fire and EMS volunteers can earn tax benefits, college tuition reimbursement, service pensions, and other incentives. And they take pride and satisfaction from doing an important job and doing it well. Your fire department needs volunteers. Have you got what it takes? Volunteer today at Suffolk'sBravest.com.
Most men don't like to shop. They dislike it, and I don't blame them. But going to Milano's is an entirely different experience. You'll love it. Sal will put you into a suit that makes you look and feel great. Everything is taken care of for you. It doesn't even feel like shopping at Milano's. You'll never want to go anyplace else. Whether it's a staff meeting, a particular special occasion like my wedding day, I trust Sal at Milano's Clothier to make you look your best.
The new 2009 Mercury Mariner. 28 miles per gallon, Better than Honda. Unsurpassed mileage. Finds the best gas prices. Even reads your text messages with Sync. It's one smart utility vehicle. Now lease a well-equipped Mercury Mariner with Sun and Sync package for only $269 a month.
You gotta put Mercury on your list.
My own very special way. And if you know me, how much I love pitching, you'll know what it means to me.
It doesn't get any better than the franchise. How about the franchise and Doc Gooden at the same time? The tarp remains on the field, but we're having a party out here outside of Gate A. Two best pitchers to ever suit up in Mets uniforms. Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden, welcome to Capital One Bank pregame.
When were you born? What year? 64. Can you imagine what happened if I was born 20 years later or he was born? I was 1944. There would be the biggest fight who's pitching opening day. Give me the ball. No, give me the ball.
I would have any problem giving it to you.
And there would have been no need for relief pitchers.
Exactly.
No relief pitchers.
They get 2 days off, right?
That's it.
Exactly.
I got to say, one back, when I came up and you were pitching, it was a game in Cincinnati. I don't know if you remember this. And I was playing center field. I think Geronimo was up or on third base, and Ken Griffey hit a fly ball to deep center field. And I went back, and I caught the ball, and I throw it back in. I get back into the dugout, and I'm sitting on the side because I thought I made a pretty good play. And he came over to me. And he says, the next time that ball's hit like that, you get in front of that ball and you get ready to throw that ball to home plate. And I remember saying it, and I went like this. All right. I didn't say anything. So now, the next day, you came back to me, and you said, do you know why I came over and told you? And as he was coming over, I was saying, if he gets on me one more time, we're going at it. But that's the way you were. You told me how to play. You said, this is what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly right. And you know why? Because I had people tell that to me. And you pass it along. You pass the information to the next generation. Right. There is but one way to play the game, and that's as a professional. And it's on the minuscule plays that nobody's ever going to notice.
Details.
Except the people inside. And if you don't pass it along, it doesn't get transferred.
Right.
Who taught you, Doc? At the major league level, you came up. I mean, could you go from anonymity to stardom any faster? Who helped you along the way?
Well, as a kid, it was my father, but once I got to the major leagues, Rusty Staub was a big influence on me. And one of the things that always stuck with me is kind of like what Tom said earlier about, doing it the right way. And I remember after the game that I didn't pitch too well, and I left out without talking to the media. And the next day I got to the ballpark, Rusty was in my face. And let me know, good or bad, you've been in front of your locker. And that was one of the main things that kind of stuck with me.
I faced him when he first came up in '84. I was in Pittsburgh, and there's, here's Dwight Gooden, the superstar, this and that. And I remember the first time getting up against Doc, and I got in the batter's box, and the first pitch he threw, and I said, man, this kid is good.
One pitch.
Was that a fastball? I said, this kid is good.
When was the last time you were back here, Dwight?
The last time I was back here was in 2000.
2000.
With the Subway Series.
Okay, so you were still playing at the time.
Still playing at the time.
And how is everything going for you? I mean, off the field, everything back where you want it to be?
Just about. Everything's going good. I got some young kids now down in Tampa playing baseball. I have a 12-year-old son that's playing football and baseball.
Great.
13-year-old son that's playing basketball and AAU baseball, so that kind of keeps me busy a little bit.
You got the speed gun on him?
Not yet. Not yet, yeah. Just let him have fun.
When I grew up, I had the pleasure, the honor of watching both of you guys. I was fairly young when you were still here, and in a teenager when you were here. What I remember, and I want to know from your perspective, the event that it was when you guys pitched. It was not a game. It was an event. It meant you could stay up later to watch Seaver. You don't have to go to bed. And it was Friday night after school. You get together with your friends to watch Gooden. What was it like in those games, playing in those games?
Well, I was, Lee will tell you, I was always very, very much one for discipline. But part of that came from my parents instead of the United States Marine Corps. It's kind of an amalgam of all those kinds of things. And then, you had somebody, I had somebody, Jack Fisher, who might be Don Cardwell, somebody take you aside, doing this, do that, don't do this, don't, you know. And somebody told me at one point in my career, very early, just like you got your lessons, he said, it doesn't make any difference if the score is 1-0 or 15-0. It doesn't make any difference. There's 5,000 people in the stands or 50,000. You go about your business a certain way. And if you can lock that in, then the world in which you work is this big, and what on the periphery doesn't make any difference. You don't try harder because there's 50,000 people. You don't try harder because you're 10 games above 500 or you're 20 games below 5. Doesn't make any difference. That is the definition of being a professional and what you bring to the mound, to the ballpark every day.
I always felt that you had 25 guys in that room, and if you ever lost the respect of your teammates, you would never get it back, and they would hold you accountable for that.
I had a very young player that did something on the field, and he's still active today, and he did something in the field, and I wasn't even in the game. I'm sitting on the bench like this, watching Big League Ball. He did something in the field that was totally unprofessional, and I kind of matured a little bit. I wasn't so nice. I went and I picked him up in the runway, and I slammed him against the wall. I said, if you ever do that again on the field again, I'm going to break your neck. There were a couple of adjectives in there, but it's the same thing. It's exactly what Maz is saying. There is one way to play as a professional, and you do it, for 9 innings, 27 innings. Doesn't make any difference what it is. Day in and day out. That's how you go about your business.
Have the guys who do that, has the number dwindled over the years, or do you see that it is still fairly the same?
You don't know. I don't know because I'm not in that clubhouse.
I totally agree with Tom.
I'm not in that dugout. I'm not in that dugout.
You got to be in the trenches to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only one way to know.
Well, what's your favorite memory? I mean, you clinched against the Cubs in the regular season. You were there on the mound. What's the thing that sticks out for you?
The main thing that sticks out is like my rookie year, the first time taking them out here in New York, living a dream. But the main one would be 86 by far.
86.
The first World Series, winning that with guys that you came up through the minors with.
Did you win 20 games your first year?
Second year.
And how about you with your complete games, by the way? We saw one yesterday.
I thought you won 20 your first year.
17.
17
the first year.
21 complete games. 1 year. With Rube Walker. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I love Rube.
Yes.
Did he push you for complete games?
No. People, obviously, in today's game, because there's so much financial investment.
Right.
I had a pitch count. Right. Jerry Koosman had a pitch count.
We didn't know about
Nolan Ryan had a pitch count. Nobody knew that.
Nobody knew.
Right.
Nobody knew that. I knew what mine was. And mine was different from Koosman. My pitch count was 135. And I would go by, if Doc is pitching the next day, and I'd be in the 7th inning or 8th inning, 7th inning, after 7, I'd say, how many pitches I got? Jerry Koosman was 145. Nolan Ryan was 100. It wasn't 155 minimum.
Koosman could have threw 200. But
but it wasn't a blanket. But when I pitched relative to my pitch count, yes, I knew how many I had. I know. But I wasn't going to spend 8 pitches on the number 8 hitter. He's going to hit a ground ball to shortstop. On the 3rd pitch. I need it for that number 3, 4, and 5 guy.
When in a World Series, I don't know what game it was, 10th inning, you're in the game.
Right.
Can you imagine anyone pitching right now in the World Series 10 innings? No way.
Only the guy yesterday. Only the guy yesterday.
It's just a different game.
I don't think. Yeah.
If you're a manager, this is perfect. You're the manager and you're managing this guy. Are you looking for a reason to take him out or leave him in? Duh. You'll leave him in. What do you want to take him out for? The manager comes out and says, how you doing? It's fine. Good. Well, I don't care if you say yes or no. I just came out to say hello, and I'm gone. See you later. Right. Go get him. And what does the athlete want? What do you want?
Want to stay in.
You
competitive. You're right there. That's right.
But you know what? There's a lot that do not want to stay in. They're looking for the manager to come to the mound.
Somebody someday is going to go out and say, you know what, kid, you're throwing first and third, and they want to, you're throwing great. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back. You figure this out. You figure you need a little bit, maybe a little bit more foxhole mentality. I don't know.
Doc, do you follow this 2008 team closely?
I follow them as much as I can. And they're very competitive, good team. And they're going well, and hopefully they can pull it off. I think they have a good chance to do it. And they can be a very dangerous team, I think, in the playoffs.
And when you fight to the end, I know Jerry Manuel likes to say when you fight to the end, maybe you have a better chance in the playoffs because you're in the fighting mode. At 73, you guys fought to the last day.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think that's the wrong way to go about your business during the season.
Interesting.
What you're trying to do for me is to control the emotions It doesn't mean because it's flashy you try harder. Well, then you weren't trying hard enough on the other side of the ledger. What happened to the first 162?
Right. Exactly.
It's just, it goes against the philosophy. Oh, yeah, well, now I'm going to work harder because we got.
Well, see, that's the thing. You know, you get today's game where you have to win, and you put yourself in that position because what about the games in April, May, and June that you didn't need to be in this position?
Right.
You know,
they count in April, May, and June.
Absolutely.
You bet your butt they count.
Yes, they do.
2 world champions. You guys, I mean, you've provided thousands of hours of entertainment and joy for so many people. I happen to be included in that group. Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden. Enjoy the day.
And I want to say thank you for teaching me how to play the game of baseball when I first came up.
A piece of it.
A piece. You, Kuzman,
Rusty,
Rusty, and Buddy, and
you
all those
pass
guys.
along the heritage is what you're doing.
And you. I got a base hit off you. I know. I'm a 333 hitter off you.
Thank you for letting me wear the number 16. You want to give it to me. That's it.
Very good.
Okay.
All the best to you, Doc.
Thank you. Okay.
Tom Seaver as well with the wine, the whole thing. All right, the past to the present. Today's lineup for the New York Mets. The rain continues to fall, but the Mets are getting ready as if they are playing baseball on a meaningful game on the final day of the regular season. The Mets lineup, we take a look at what's going on today at Shea, the Mets and the Marlins. In that lineup would be Nick Evans. Here's Nick Evans with Kevin Burkhardt.
You come in here, final regular season game at Shea, and you're in the starting lineup. I mean, did you ever think that was even remotely possible back in when this year started?
Oh, absolutely not. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the year I'd be playing in the last game of Shea, the most important game of the year, I would have said you're crazy. So, I'm enjoying every minute of it, and hopefully we can go out and get a win.
What are you feeling right now? I mean, is it excitement? Is it nerves? Or what's going through your mind?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the nerves in this situation work for you, though. But I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
This is yesterday was something. I mean, watching Santana do what he did. I mean, what was your view? I know you didn't play in yesterday's game. What was your view from his performance?
I already had tremendous respect for Santana, but after that game, it took it to a whole new level. I mean, that was probably the most gutsy and best performance I've ever seen from a pitcher. So it was unbelievable.
You got a sense too about the atmosphere and what this place could be like. That was the loudest I heard it all year yesterday. Did you? I mean, now you're going to get a chance to kind of be in front of that. Does that propel you? Does that get was that fun to be a part of?
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday before the game, when they started a "Let's Go Mets" chant before the game even started, and when that happened, I knew it was going to be an exciting day, and I think today's going to be the same, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
There's always been so much talk about what happened last year, and the team came down to the final day again, which is ironic, and didn't get in. But you weren't a part of that this year. I mean, do you feel like this team is ready? Do you feel like this team is calm? Give me what's your take of the clubhouse?
Well, I wasn't here last year, so I don't really know what it was like here. But I think if you'd have told anybody on this team after last year that we were going to have this day to kind of redeem ourselves, I think everyone would have taken it. So I think it's a big day for us, and I think everybody feels good, everybody's ready, and I think it'll work out.
Give me a take on Olsen. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know I'm pretty sure you had a couple hits against him. What have you seen from him the couple times you've played against him this year?
He just throws me a lot of fastballs. He doesn't usually try to trick me very much. He just gives me, tries to get me out, with fastballs and changeups, and I got to watch some tape and get ready.
Do you go out today, and I know the Brewer game starts later, but do you even look at the scoreboard? Do you constantly look at the scoreboard? What's your approach there?
Since I'm playing, I won't be. I got to focus on the game. It's a lot easier to be looking at the scoreboard when you're not playing. But when you're in the lineup, you got to focus on what you're doing.
Well, good luck to you, Nick, and hopefully it'll be a joyous clubhouse afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kevin Burkhardt with Nick Evans in the lineup today against the lefty. The Mets and the Brewers, you know the deal. Dead even in the wild card standings with one game remaining. Maz and I are outside of Gate A. The Stars keep rolling in. The Mets of the past are meeting the Mets of the present. Jose Reyes will join Kevin Burkhardt. That's still to come on Capital One Bank pregame live. October 16th, 1969. The Miracle Mets were making their first World Series appearance against the heavily favored Baltimore Orioles. In Game 5, more than 57,000 fans witnessed history. Behind a complete Game 5 hitter by Jerry Kuzman, the Mets clinched their first World Series crown in Shea's postseason debut.
See the back pages in a whole new light.
It's unbelievable.
trouble as Chris Carter.
It isn't like great pitchers are growing on trees.
Joe Beningo.
Who's kidding who?
And the daily news writers behind the top stories deliver the hottest New York sports topics with debate.
Is there any place for this in baseball?
Opinion.
I just don't like the attitude of this team.
And a whole lot of attitude.
Of course he hit him on purpose.
Daily News Live, presented by Citi. Weekdays at 5 with encores at 11 and 1:30 a.m. Only on SNY.
Get your New York sports here.
Our kids are normal kids, which means they're plugged in 24 hours a day. Even when we went on our big family trip, they were busy texting away or shooting spaceships or whatever.
Hey, Tyler, you coming?
Yeah. But eventually, when we reached the phosphorescent bay, they discovered that sometimes the most captivating glow of all isn't battery-powered.
Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Because Citi never sleeps.
SNY and the New York Mets present Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula. Soft hands, smooth plays, featuring Jose Reyes.
When you know how to stop playing, you know when they hit you, ground ball is gonna be tough so you can catch it. You have to be real soft when you hang, when you reach. You know, when you're soft like that, you're gonna be successful.
It was nicely done by Reyes.
When I get a good throw to the first baseman, it's gonna be 99.9% is gonna be out.
For more defensive tips and for information on Palmer's products, visit sny.tv/Palmer's.
A fair ball, hit by Buckner, rounding third base. The Mets will win the ball game. The Mets
win. You were in that pile in the celebration, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Where were you? Top, bottom? Where were you?
I started on the top.
You did.
And then I ended up somewhere on the bottom.
You're right. I think I do remember you leaping across. All right, that's the deal. The memories, the stories. We've had Hall of Famers out here, and Mets greats, World Series champions. Lee Mazzilli, Matt Yaloff, Capital One Bank pregame live continues. We have more to do out here, but remember, the game today, it can't get any bigger for a regular season game. So for the inside word on that game, the final game of the regular season, we join our friend Kevin Burkhardt with the inside word presented by New Era. Kevin, it comes down to this, and of course, that is fitting.
Might as well have a rain delay on the final regular season game at Shea. I mean, why not? And of course, by the way, this Friday and Saturday, which were supposed to be disasters weather-wise, were fine, and today was supposed to be crystal sunshine, and well, we got this, but we're going to play, so it's all right, guys. Everybody's in a good mood. We're loose. We're ready to go.
So tell me about the mood. You've been working that clubhouse. I mean, does it look like a Thursday in May, or does it look like September 28th?
You know, they're really relaxed. I think that the mood is really great inside the Mets clubhouse today. I mean, it's a lot different than it was last year, to be honest. I mean, I think, you know, guys are having fun. I think they're kind of seizing the moment. And I think you have to really credit that Santana start yesterday. I mean, that energized this club, as you would expect by that performance. But, you know, guys today, they're laughing, they're smiling. They have a quote board every day that they have a different quote on. It's usually a lengthy quote. Today, the quote is, "What up?" That's Santana's catchphrase. So I think they're ready to go. You know, I think that game yesterday really energized them. I was talking to guys just really excited about getting in front of the crowd and getting going and giving them something to cheer about. But I do think that there is pressure on the offense to get an early lead. You know, Jerry Manuel kind of dismissed that yesterday, but I really believe, guys, you get an early lead, I think this team's on its way. But I think you just want to get out to that start, take a little pressure off Perez, and honestly, forget about last year because you didn't get out of the first inning last year. So I think all that is important in the start here.
You got all the pomp and circumstance. You got the old-timers. You got the celebration, the memories. Do the players inside have to work extra hard to separate what's happening around them from their task at hand?
I don't think they do at all, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think they're thinking about it. Half the guys I don't think really care right now. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, most of these guys don't have any affiliation with Shea for the most part, except for playing here a couple of years, and they're just not thinking about, which I got to be honest is a good thing. You know, you don't. I'd rather be in there asking about the game today and about the preparation and the emotions and facing Scott Olson and the Marlins than what their favorite memory is of Shea. I mean, you know, ask that down the road. So I think it's actually better off. The guys are completely focused, but I'll tell you what, you know, who knows what's going to happen today, guys, but it could be a potentially awesome situation. I mean, can you imagine if everything goes right today and the Mets win and they clinch, and here are these guys getting a chance to celebrate with maybe some of the former greats? I mean, that would be a great day. I'm looking way down the road, but bottom line is what I'm trying to tell you. I think this team is focused. I think they're loose. I think they've got a great energy, and they're not worrying about anything else other than facing Scott Olson and the Marlins.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, Kev, with the rain, if this game does get pushed, then perhaps the Mets end after the Brewers, and if the Brewers lose, the Mets could actually celebrate upon the last out. We're getting ahead of ourselves because Oliver Perez has to deliver the goods today. Who knows? I mean, we could be watching him pitch his final game as a Met. Isn't that the case?
You know, and this is based on my opinion. This is based on nothing, not talking to anybody, but I really believe that Oliver Perez coming back with the Mets has a lot to do with today's start. Because I think if he goes out there and throws a great game, it's going to be hard to ignore him on the free agent market. And I think if he goes out there and throws a dud, I think that's going to put, you know, a different opinion on Oliver Perez. I think there's a lot riding on the start for him personally. I mean, look, he's going to get a lot of money. He's a talented left-hander. He's had a great year for the most part. But I do think you make a big impression today on this organization by how you go out here and handle yourself. And you know, Matt, just to comment on your scoreboard thing, Matt, I'd love to hear your take. I kind of wonder what is better. I wonder if it is better to play at the same time, maybe potentially finish later, or if it's better to play first, have an ability to put a crooked number on the board and make the Brewers look at that. I don't know. I mean, each guy holds it in a different light.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like playing golf. You know, you want to be the first one to putt, but I would say that I would kind of take them out of the equation. I think, you know, it's very easy for a player while you're in the field to just take a glance and look at the scoreboard.
Sure.
But I think that's not what you want to do. I think you got to concentrate what's on hand right now and stay away from that, because, listen, you have no any control over what they're going to do in Milwaukee, and I think that, you know, one thing that you got to go right now is game at hand.
You know, guys, just to finish on Perez, I really think, look, he has, of course, had a history of pitching well in big games. And, you know, he didn't pitch well down the stretch last year. He had that tough start against the Marlins. He had a tough one against the Cubs. But I'll tell you what, I really get the feel. If he comes out in the first inning, strikes out a batter or two, and the crowd gets behind him, I think that would be exactly what he needs and what the Mets need today.
Well, what does the lineup look like today, Kev?
Let's check out the lineup today. It's a little different. You've got Nick Evans in there, first of all, which I thought was intriguing. You've got Castro in there. You've got Martinez in there again, although Easley is pretty much ready to go, but Martinez has played well. So how about that? Evans batting fifth. You want to talk about a lot of pressure on a young kid, but you have to say he and Murphy has really done a nice job handling that pressure. So that is the lineup there. Marlins, the biggest omission is that Hanley Ramirez isn't in there, and this guy has played his tail off this series. He wants to win the series so bad. He is not in there. Cameron Maybin instead will lead off for them and play center field. The only, I guess, surprise for the lineup is that Mike Jacobs, who never plays against lefties, is in there, and especially because Oliver Perez is so tough against lefties. Jacobs in there. Hanley Ramirez is not, so that is a big help for Oliver Perez and the Mets, and those are the lineups for today, boys.
All right, we hope we see you a little bit later during Mets baseball on SNY. Of course, David Wright in there today. They need his bat. And long before David Wright, a guy named Wayne Garrett played third base for the New York Mets, number 11, back in the early 70s. Wayne Garrett standing by with Chris Cotter on the red carpet.
All right, here with Wayne Garrett. I noticed the wool. You know, it's bring back memories of those hot summer days in the wool jerseys.
It was those hot summer days in these wool jerseys, and that's what we actually wore the first year that we were here. And of course, through the minor leagues too, I had to wear these. So it was nice going into that polyester.
How nice is it to come back here? So many years ago, you first played here, and now you get to see this last game.
I tell you what, it really brings back a lot of memories, and it's always fun and exciting to come back to Shea Stadium. And of course, the people, the fans here are the greatest in the world, and it's always a pleasure to come back.
Now, you played here when it was beautiful Shea Stadium, before it was old Shea Stadium. What made it such a nice park to play in, you know, in the early 70s time frame?
Well, I think it looks better now than when we played, because it was awfully drab looking when we played. It was not painted. It was just gray, and I think they spruced it up a little bit.
You had the color panels on the side of the walls on the outside.
It looks, I mean, they've got paint on it now.
What is your fondest memory of playing here?
Well, it would definitely have to be 1969. That was my rookie year, and and it was exciting for me, and I know that there was maybe 4 or 5 other rookies on that team, and it was very exciting for us, and I mean, and nothing could replace that year.
Are you sad to see it go?
In a way, I mean, we know that the new has to come in, but yeah, it's always sad. I mean, but you know, you just have to give in.
Wayne, you're a part of history here. Have fun with the day. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, Matty, back up to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris Cotter. I mentioned earlier my mom loved Wayne Garrett. I just wanted to get that in. Mama, why? Hello. All right, so the Mets and the Marlins are getting set to play in the final game of the regular season, and Jose Reyes set to the table. Jose Reyes is with Kevin Burkhardt. You'll hear that interview. It's coming up when we come back.
Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets!
2001, Shea Stadium hosted the first sporting event in New York after the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Before the game, the Mets and Braves put aside their rivalry for a brief moment. But in the bottom of the 8th, New York trailed 2-1 when Mike Piazza stepped up to the plate.
This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead
3-2。ビッグパピじゃない？レッドソックスの。
撮ってもらっていいですか？ちょっと待って。デビッド・オーティス？ちょっとみんなビッグパピやろ？ビッグパピ。
You know Big Papi.
It's that authentic. New Era, official on-field cap of Major League Baseball.
You hear that the phone company now wants you to sign a 2-year contract for some of their TV or internet services? Contract. So if you change your mind, they can sock you with termination fees of up to $200? Nice. Hey, this is what Optimum thinks of contracts. If you don't agree our services are better, there's no penalty to disconnect. No termination fees. At Optimum, we like to keep it simple.
The best Mets game moments. The plays you want to see again. Now online. Check out the IO HD Plays of the Game on SNY.TV for the week's top highlights. Presented by IO TV, the leader in HD. Do you see an HD?
Moments ago, the Mets take the field, and David Wright does it for the first time in the big leagues.
Shea Stadium, just a lot of firsts for me.
And now applause begins to rise here at Shea as the crowd greets David Wright for his first Major League at-bat.
My first game, one of the best days of my life, getting called up and playing my first game at Shea Stadium in front of the New York fans. I have a lot of firsts at Shea. My first hit.
3-1 to Wright, pulled on the ground over the third base bag. That's a fair ball down the line. Wright's first Major League hit. He's on his way to second as Sledge digs it out, and David Wright pulls in at second base with a stand-up double. His first big league hit is an extra base hit, and Matt Galante takes possession of the ball and tosses it toward the Mets dugout for safekeeping.
I'm gonna miss Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium, I have a lot of great memories so far in my young career.
2-2 to Wright, into the air to center field. It's over his head, and the Mets win it. He's there, put it in the books. The New York Mets have won the National League's Eastern Division Championship.
You know, I'm gonna miss it. But looking forward to moving on because I have very fond memories.
Late this afternoon, the Mets may clinch another playoff berth if the rain allows. We know the game will not start on time. It will be pushed back. No official start time has been provided as of yet. Maz and I are outside Gate A at Shea. The fans are here. The old-timers are here. Some of the greats to ever play the game are here. And hello, you're here as well for a full day of Mets coverage on SNY. We're talking about today's game. Of course, you know the stakes are high. The Mets win, they guarantee themselves at least tomorrow. Some of what happens in the next couple of days depends on what the Brewers are doing. Let's check in now with Kevin Burkhardt. He's standing by with Jose Reyes.
Jose, what's your feeling today as you come into the ballpark? I mean, is excitement? I mean, tell me how you're feeling getting ready for today.
I mean, it's no doubt about it. It's exciting, and I think this play is going to be with a lot of energy, you know, and this is a special day, too, because this is the last regular game season of Shea Stadium, so it's going to be a special day for us.
Does that mean something to you, that you could send this place out with a bang and hopefully clinch a playoff berth today? Is that important to you?
I mean, it's no doubt about it, you know, but the most important thing is in the situation we are right now, so we just try to get a win tonight and go from there.
Is there pressure on the offense today to score early, just to take a little of the pressure off of Ali? Do you feel any of that pressure?
I mean, you know, it's no doubt we just try to score some run early in the game and try to see how Oliver going to do. I mean, you know, I think if he throws a strike, he's going to be tough.
Is it amazing to you that, I know Castro's trying to make us laugh. He's doing good. Is it amazing to you that, I mean, last year it came down to the final day, and this year you play all the spring training, all these games, and again, we're down to the final day. I mean, is it hard to believe?
I mean, it's hard to believe, but in the same time, it's exciting too. I mean, you know, you dream for this. I mean, as a little kid, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of people exciting today here. So hopefully we can through today and get this big win today, and hopefully Milwaukee can lose on the other side.
Are you looking forward to, because like you said, you dream of this, but also, you know, last year you guys had the final day and it didn't work out, but now you have a chance to make up for all that. I mean, do you feel that way in the back of your head?
I mean, you know, we don't worry no more about what happened last year. This is this year, and this is the time right now. I mean, you know, we just had to get it done somehow.
Let me ask you one last question. Now the Brewers start late. Do you care about them? Are you going to look at the scoreboard, or will you just worry about your game right now?
I mean, right now we just have to stay more focused about the game we play right now. I mean, you know, we're going to check the scoreboard because the scoreboard is there in the stadium, but we just try to stay focused on the game we play tonight, because that's going to be a more important game for us.
All right, Jose, hopefully I'll see a big smile on your face after the game. All right, congratulations. Good luck today.
Thank you, Papa.
Jose Reyes with Kevin Burkhardt. Thank you, Papi. All right, they're going to be keeping an eye on the scoreboard because CC Sabathia is going today for the Brewers, the third straight start, Naz, on 3 days rest.
Yeah.
His arm may fall off in the middle of this game. It's a very good possibility. All the Brewers' hopes. They haven't been to the postseason since 1982. Angel Guzman goes for the Cubs today. They were supposed to go with Marquis. They got Marquis work yesterday. Lou Piniella now positioning everybody for round one. Sabathia and Guzman in Milwaukee. We'll give you updates on that game as we move along during Mets coverage here on SNY. Earlier today, Jerry Manuel talked about his team and given rookies a shot to perform on the season's final day.
That's the funny thing about baseball. Sometimes you know, those things can work against you because of unfamiliarity, that type of thing. Sometimes, you know, a young kid could be a guy that could do real well in those situations. So, no, I don't have a problem with that. That's the position that they put themselves in, and they have to do what they have to do to get ready for where they're headed. You know, before the game, everybody's kind of out there. We'll kind of be screaming and yelling at that time, that type of stuff. But no, I think and feel that they know what's at stake, and just have to go out and get it done. I think obviously if we don't get it done, it'll be definitely a part of what's being discussed and talked about, and we'll have to deal with that. And hopefully we can get it done. This is the last game in this building, regular season game in this building, and hopefully we can do it some justice.
Well, we know winning is the key, but what is the key inside of winning?
Well, yeah, obviously you want to get off good pitching-wise, but I think for this game, this particular game, Matty, I think you really need to play good fundamental baseball early on, because I think any mistake, big or small, has a huge consequence. So I think what you do is, you make the plays that you need to make, nothing special. You get the guys over and bunt when you need to do that. Things like that you'll see that'll pay off in the 6th and 7th inning of the game.
Does Jerry Manuel have to be careful here not to deviate because it's the final day as far as doing things he's been doing? Or do you throw out your bag of tricks and you say, this is the final day, so all bets are off?
No, I don't know if that's necessarily true. And I'm going to say why is because if you deviate from your game plan as a manager, your players are going to say all of a sudden, well, why is he squeezing with me now?
Okay.
Why
I see.
hit and run
That's
now?
fair. That's fair.
I've never done that before all season, so I think Jerry's going to keep his game plan within his players and what they can do, because one thing you don't want to take a player is take him off guard and put something on and do something that they're not used to doing. So you're going to stay with that.
And I guess it can also be like he's panicking, we're panicking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's the voice of calm.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. You don't need that. You want to see someone and things are going tough right now in the middle of a game, and you look over and you see someone saying, don't worry, boys, we'll be okay.
You need
We're
that.
okay. Rather than someone, depending on a team, kicking helmets and throwing things around. So you want to have that right now. And I really don't think that Jerry or anyone else has to tell a player what to do right now. I think your teammates are going to tell you exactly what you need to do and how to go about it, and let them play the game. I said this, a couple of days ago, and I'm a believer in this, that, just coming from this city, that if you took this team and you went into the schoolyards or played in the park somewhere, that they all know what's at stake, they're going to play the game. They're going to play the game of baseball, and that's what they need to remember, play the game of baseball.
And there's more good news on top of that. The rain seems to have stopped, if not completely let up, it is almost there. So Mets baseball is coming up on SNY. When it starts, you'll see it. Naz and I are back outside of Gate A at Shea. The fans are here. The high stakes are in place. 848 players. 848 have played at least one game for the Mets. You've seen half of them on this show. Come on back.
How much time?
October 25th, 1986. Game 6 of the 86 World Series. And Mookie Wilson found himself in the middle of not just one of the Mets' most memorable moments, but one of the most enduring moments in the history of all sports. Trailing the Red Sox 5-4 and facing elimination in the series, Mookie came up with runners on first and third and 2 out. Bob Stanley's wild pitch enabled the Mets to tie the game at 5. And when Mookie stepped back into the box, the unthinkable happened.
And a ground ball, quickly, it is a fair ball, gets by Buckner, rounding third night. The Mets will win the ball game. The Mets win. They win.
SNY.TV, your online home to all things New York sports. SNY.TV, the latest info and great features with the
Teachers Federal Credit Union is the educated choice.
I got my car loan at Teachers.
I even got my boat financed through Teachers Federal Credit Union.
My mom just got a mortgage from Teachers Federal Credit Union.
Teachers Federal Credit Union is the educated choice for all your banking needs. Get great rates on mortgages, auto, boat, and home equity loans. And remember,
You don't have to be a teacher. Union is the educated choice.
Time? Who has time?
News 12 Long Island.
It's there for me 24/7.
I rely on it every day.
Local traffic, local weather, local news. My brother was featured on News 12 and everybody in the neighborhood saw it.
I want Long Island news from people who live right here on Long Island.
There was a gas leak in my neighborhood. News 12 was all over it. Nobody else paid attention to that one.
You just can't get this anywhere else.
News 12 Long Island. Only on Cablevision, not on Phone Company TV or anywhere else.
With Papa John's 14 unique taste creations on our specialty menu. Specialties are our specialty, like the Italian Meats Trio, the Sicilian Classic, and the Chicken Bacon Ranch. Get a large specialty pizza, just $12.99 each. 14 unique tastes, all at one place. Call or click papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Do you know if there's a Capital One Bank branch around here?
Yeah, there's got to be. Check out this new mapping site. Hey, that one's really close.
Capital One Bank, now with hundreds and hundreds of branches and ATMs.
What's in your wallet?
Well, 1986. Did you think it was over, Game 6?
Honestly, yes.
You did?
Yeah, being down 2 runs. I thought when we were down 1 run, we can come back.
Right.
When we fell down 2 runs, I thought that was going to be tough.
Yeah, well, you know, Pedro Martinez probably thought it was all over when he pitched for the Red Sox, and they were down 3-0 to the Yankees back in 2004. He won a World Series, came on board here. Pedro's legacy at Shea, well, let's listen to him. He'll tell us what he remembers best about this stadium.
Pedro Martinez takes the ball tonight against the Braves. 1 win shy of 200 in a brilliant career.
Fastball swung on and missed.
It was great to actually get it specifically that night because everybody seemed to be prepared for that night. There was an atmosphere that was different that day.
Now the big crowd rising here at Shea. 2-2 to Sosa. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
I couldn't choose any other day to do that. We had a lot of people at the stadium.
Pedro Martinez will exit with a chance for his 200th career victory tonight here at Shea.
And they were really, really loud.
Just something that really I should enjoy and reflect about for the rest of my life.
He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Pedro Martinez's 200th career victory.
For me, it's going to be always a highlight to actually remember that win.
Well, Pedro provided some special moments here, but nothing in Mets history compares with Game 6 of the '86 World Series. And you were there, Maz. You played.
Oh, yeah. It was a great game. Obviously, it was a game that, you know, you're going. You don't know what's going to happen. You get in the extra innings, and then you fall behind. And then when Dave Henderson hit that home run, and what people forget, I was in right field at the time, and they made a double switch with Straw, and after the home run, and then they scored another run. But people forget that Mookie Wilson threw, I think it was Gedman out at the plate, would have put him up 3 runs, down. And, you know, you think 1 run, no big deal, like I said earlier. But that second run kind of just said, it really took the wind out of you. You know, Aguilera was on the mound. You know how great he was. But, you know, what happens? You hit a home run. And it was like, boy, we got to... Can we or can't we? We weren't sure. Right. We had the talent in the dugout to do it. But as you know and everyone else knows, once that 1 base runner got on and then the second one in Mitchell, it just seemed like, I don't know, there's something going on here. You know, just you weren't sure what was happening. And then Ray Knight got the hit. And then finally when that 1 run came, it was like, you looked around and the guy's saying, hey, guess what? You know, we can do this. You know, we weren't sure at the beginning, but I think when things started to heat up, it was pretty.
Was it quiet? Was it quiet?
Very, well, no, not really. It was more like, you know what? I could see at Game 6 when we were in the dugout and that happened. The Red Sox were on a top step in their dugout. I could see them.
They were ready to go.
They were ready to go.
Yep.
And in every hit that they got, it was like they took 1 step back in the dugout. And every hit the Mets got again, they took another step down. And it was wild. And Tom Seaver was a member of that '86 team.
Unbelievable. Yep. Unbelievable. Well, that proves it's never over. And the Mets have 1 more game to extend their season. Mets baseball coming up on SNY. Capital One Bank pregame live says goodbye to all of our guests and everybody out here. Thank you. Here's Gary Cohen with Mets baseball.
Shea Stadium, the final day, or maybe not. Last year, the Mets found their season coming to an end on the last day of the season. Now, with the old ballpark ready to say goodbye, the Mets are hoping to say hello. postseason game ever pitched by a Met. Johan Santana came up huge, and now he hands the ball off to Oliver Perez, hoping for a similar performance on the season's final day. At Shea Stadium in New York, the New York Mets play the Florida Marlins. Today's game is available in high definition, presented by IOTV, the leader in HD. Do you see in HD? It is the final game at Shea Stadium. After 45 seasons, Shea will close its doors after today, or maybe it won't. The Mets are tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for the wild card lead in the National League. The Mets went into last season's final game tied for the National League East lead with the Phillies, but let the season slip away. Ceremonies after the game commemorating 45 years of history here at Shea, but we could have a game here tomorrow if the Mets and Brewers both win or both lose. And who knows, we could have another month of baseball before all is said and done in this old ballpark. It is fitting that it is raining here at Shea Stadium. It's been raining all weekend. The Mets have played through the rain. They have played around the rain, and they're going to be delayed by rain at the start of this game. So you got guys sitting in the clubhouse thinking about today, thinking about what transpired last year, thinking about what happened yesterday with Johan Santana pitching a brilliant game. How do you get ready for this one?
Well, it's very easy to get ready for this one. You are right. They do have the scarlet letter over their head, which they can just eradicate with a win today in postseason. It's like you said, Gary, earlier, this is such a huge game for the Met franchise and for those players that are going to be on the field today to win, go out there and win this ball game. Oliver Perez gets the nod, as you say. The Mets have scored 139 runs. That's the Major League leading 139 runs in the first inning. They need to get up on top early. This team over here, the Marlins, don't like them. They would love to snatch it from them and play the spoiler. But a team that's got 1 foot on the bus, if you put them down early, they may be looking in that dugout and saying, let's get back home, and the Mets can look to postseason.
The ball goes to Oliver Perez, and Ollie has been in this situation before, pitching on 3 days rest in a game to save the season. He did it in Game 7 of the League Championship Series 2 years ago. Now, not only does he have that to look back on, but he has the inspiration of what he saw here yesterday.
Yeah, really did. He only gave up 1 run in that last game, Game 7 against the Cardinals in 6 innings. They're looking for the same kind of effort today, but let me tell you, what a blueprint he was given by Johan Santana in yesterday's game. One of the finest games I've ever seen pitched by a player under that kind of pressure. And Oliver, hopefully today, will have the same kind of plan. The key, though, is for Jerry Manuel to be able to read Oliver, and if he has his good stuff early in the game.
A couple of notes on the lineups today. Nick Evans will play in left field for the Mets. He's 6 for 10 against the Marlins starter Scott Olson, and he'll bat 5th for the first time in the major leagues. And for the Florida Marlins, Hanley Ramirez, perhaps their best player, not in the lineup. He banged up his shoulder making a great play yesterday.
Well, he's had a great series, too. He came here to play and show, I guess, there's a competition, and I guess there is a competition between Jose Reyes and Hanley played great, so that's a big break for the Mets. Alfredo Mezaga will play shortstop today. He will bring them a little better defense at that position, but it certainly won't make up for the loss of Hanley Ramirez's bat.
And what of Scott Olson? Olson has faced the Mets more over the last 3 years than any pitcher in baseball. The Mets have done very well against Olson, but you know how talented he is.
He really is. One of the most talented left-handers in baseball. A little volatile, to tell you the truth, early in his career, but he seemed to have settled that down, and he's going to give the Mets a test today. The Mets have got to him, and they've played well against him, but he's the kind of guy on this day, it really shouldn't matter who's pitching, because it's a game you got to have somehow, some way.
And everything is on the line. The Brewers will wrap up their series against the Chicago Cubs today. They'll have CC Sabathia going on 3 days rest for the 3rd straight time. The Cubs will not have Carlos Zambrano on the mound. They'll have young Angel Guzman after the Cubs beat the Brewers yesterday. Well, everybody is waiting for today. And when today is over, the old ballpark will close, at least for now. So much of Mets history on hand to celebrate the finale at Shea. You say goodbye, the Mets say hello. Back in a moment.
Those appearing on SNY programming receive promotional consideration brought to you by Christo's Steakhouse.
Honey, if you want to get rid of your gray hair, try my hair color. It's really easy.
Women's hair color
can take 30 minutes. Just for men takes 5 minutes.
No one will notice.
Purge colors every hair. Just for men targets only gray.
It has ammonia, but it doesn't smell that bad.
Oh yes, it does. Just for men has no damaging ammonia.
Let's go buy some. It'll only take half an hour.
Yeah, right. The truth is, men need Just for Men. Stay in the game.
Hey, didn't you go to Bermuda last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, how was it?
Amazing.
Really?
We started at the beach.
Really?
Susan loved the pink sand. We did some shopping. And believe me, the dining was fantastic.
Feel the love.
What are you doing?
No, I just feel the love.
Okay.
Bermuda, only 2 hours from the East Coast. Call 800 Bermuda or visit bermudatourism.com.
Nissan set out to create the perfect on-road vehicle, and in the process, created a category. Introducing 2 crossover leaders from Nissan. The redesigned Murano, awarded as an IIHS top safety pick, and the versatile Rogue, named 2008's best new small crossover. Lease the 27 MPG Nissan Rogue, just $229 a month. Don't follow the leader, own one. At your Nissan dealer now.
Hey fans, make sure to pick up the Daily News on Sunday, September 28th to receive the New York Mets special insert presented by Nikon, commemorating Shea Stadium's storied history.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by IOTV, the leader in HD. Do you see in HD? By Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com. By Advanced Radiation Centers of New York, reminding you that September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. By Nikon, be sure to pick up the Daily News today to receive the New York Mets special insert presented by Nikon, commemorating Shea Stadium's storied history. And by AmeriVault, don't let data loss strike out your business. Get online backup with AmeriVault before it's too late. Own a piece of history. Authentic pairs of Shea Stadium seats are on sale exclusively at Mets.com/Shea. All proceeds benefit charities through the Mets Foundation. Get to Mets.com/Shea to order today. Here's your Jeep around the majors for Dave. Today, a final day of the regular season, but almost certainly not the last day of the season. The Brewers got within 4-3 before Michael Wirtz got 2 huge outs for the Cubs, and the Cubs beat the Brewers 7-3 to help the Mets out. The Phillies hung on a double play started by a diving Jimmy Rollins to beat the Nats 4-3 and clinch their second straight National League East title. And the American League Central still up for grabs as the Twins and White Sox both lost. And the Twins are a half game in front. If they finish within a half game after today, the White Sox will have a makeup game against the Tigers tomorrow, and then perhaps a tiebreaker on Tuesday.
Boy, Rollins was all over that field. He had an over-the-shoulder catch also to get a big out. And the Twins and White Sox, after that big series, doesn't that always happen? They come out of it a little flat.
Well, here at Shea Stadium, this is the final scheduled game. There may be another one tomorrow. There may be plenty more. But after that, the Mets will move over to Citi Field. And we've had the pleasure of getting the tour of Citi from Danny Sessa all season long. Let's look in.
We're back with our Citi Field construction update with our man Danny Sessa. Our man Danny Sessa, local 45 Carpenters Union in Queens.
Jimmy Rollins gets up. Maybe we can make a wall disappear. He goes behind it. Where'd Jimmy go? Who knows? Jimmy Rollins? You kidding me?
You have those peanuts from the last time we met?
Could I interest you in some veal stew with artichokes and lemon?
How about filet mignon next time?
Well, and don't forget the ice cream. No top on it. Foul balls for everybody. Pandemonium behind home plate.
You know, these seats are great.
You know, we got a little bit of a racket over here.
We're back with our, it's amazing. You had
put some nice turf down here. Naturally, we touch the acoustics, Kevin.
You sure this is going to work, Danny?
Number 7, Jose Reyes.
Is there anything he doesn't do?
It's a wrap.
Well, Citi Field will be open for business next year, but
Kevin and Danny had a really good time getting us ready. Kevin, I think my favorite part was Danny carrying you down the stairs.
The music was perfect, wasn't it? I mean, it's just great. You know, that was some of the best fun I've had this year. I mean, really getting a chance to go over and see the stadium, you know, each couple of weeks when we come home from a road trip and be like, wow, look at that, or look at that, or look what you guys have done in a couple of weeks, and getting Danny to show us around. And obviously, we had so many laughs. We had a lot of laughs on camera, and for as many as we had on camera, you can imagine how many we had off camera. You saw a couple on that piece that was put together. You know, it was a lot of fun this year. And I tell you guys, you know, Gary, you've been to a lot more games here than I have as a kid. I obviously grew up a fan, but I never really was. I'm not a sentimental guy, and I never really was a guy that, you know, wanted to go out and collect some dirt from today or anything like that. But I got to tell you, coming in today, I feel a little differently. You know, now that we're here and now it's the final regular season game, I feel a little something about this place, and hopefully this isn't the last game we play here this year, and hopefully you let me guys come back and work with you next year and don't give Danny my job. So I'm asking for that too.
I think we'll keep Danny around for some comic relief, no question about that, Kevin. But, you know, the lack of finality today makes this so strange because, sure, it's the last scheduled game at Shea Stadium, but certainly every Met fan hopes that it's not the last game at Shea.
You know, coming in today, this is the earliest crowd I ever have seen here at Shea. I mean, I usually come here really early. There's no one around, and it was packed here coming in. It took me almost an hour to get into the ballpark, but it's nice to see that kind of fever here at Shea.
And by the way, you saw Kevin squinting during that report. That's because the skies have brightened considerably and it has stopped raining. However, there is the fear that there are more showers on the way, so the pitchers have not started warming up yet. We've been given no official start time for this game. It looks like we're going to be waiting a while longer to get today's game underway, but they will play come high water or anything else here on the final day of the regular season. 45 years at Shea and one more day at least. Mets and Marlins coming up.
Oh, honey, it's Gorman.
Bottom of the ninth, Gorman down to his last strike. He had a pitch.
He's having problems at work again.
Runners will be going. Here's a pitch. Strike three. Game over.
Watch and control your home TV with Slingbox anywhere you can get an internet or cellular connection.
You should have traded that guy a long time ago. Fired.
Hey.
Fired.
Slingbox.
Greedy. Colin?
Yeah.
It's me, Kyle. Come on, I listen to your show every day. Yeah, how you doing, man? Not so good, actually. Doctor says I probably need a kidney transplant. Oh, well, at least you only need one, right? You really do that for me? You give me a kidney? What? Oh, God! You give and you give and you give!
Catch every pitch of the MLB postseason on 1050 ESPN Radio.
Hi, I'm David Wright. Welcome to Citi Field, our new world-class home. New York's union carpenters and contractors are making it happen. They're building our new ballpark with quality and safety, a win for New York and for our team. We are building our landmarks with talented craftspeople, creating communities and building a solid future for New Yorkers. New York's landmarks are built with union carpenters and contractors. Visit www.builditunion.com for your free Citi Field pin.
Not only is the new Mazda 6 fuel efficient, but in terms of power and room, it flat out beats Camry and Altima. Hey, we're always up for a good fight. The totally, completely, 100% new Mazda 6. At your Mazda dealer now.
Right now, hurry in to lease a 2009 Mazda 6i Sport for $229 a month for 24 months with $28.24 due at lease signing.
Did you hear that the phone company now wants you to sign a 2-year contract for some of their TV or internet services? Contract. So if you change your mind, they can sock you with termination fees of up to $200? Nice. Hey, this is what Optimum thinks of contracts. If you don't agree our services are better, there's no penalty to disconnect. No termination fees. At Optimum, we like to keep it simple.
Back at Chase Stadium, where we await the start of today's game between the Mets and the Florida Marlins. And as you can see, the grounds crew is in the process of peeling the tarp off the field. And we're waiting for a word on exactly when today's game might start. The pitchers have not begun warming up yet, and there is some more rain in the neighborhood. So we'll wait and see exactly what they intend to do here. But everybody here is on tenterhooks, waiting for today's game, waiting for a result here, waiting to see what happens in Milwaukee, waiting for post-game ceremonies here, waiting to see if there's a game here tomorrow or whether the Mets will play in Chicago on Wednesday. All those things are possibilities. But one thing we know for sure is that yesterday we witnessed something extraordinary. A pitcher in the modern era, having thrown 125 pitches just 4 days before, pitching on 3 days rest, short rest, go out and throw a complete game shutout in the most important game of the season. And if nothing else, regardless of what happens from here on, Johan Santana has really cemented himself in the Mets pantheon.
Well, can I tell you, it's almost like Muhammad Ali calling what round of knockout. On Wednesday, he went to Terry Manuel, said, listen, I'm getting the ball on Saturday. It doesn't matter if we're one ahead, one behind. That is my game. I'm going to go out there and win that for the team. And how does he do it? He goes out there and throws a 3-hit shutout. And one of the finest games I've ever seen pitched. I used to chart number 16, Dwight Gooden. It's some of the greatest games you've ever seen pitched at Chase Stadium. And can I tell you, I haven't seen one rival that under that kind of pressure, when you had to do it, and that kind of emotion. Mr. Santana delivered as called. And that's very rare when an athlete can slow it down to such a pace that says, listen, I'm taking care of business today. You guys have tomorrow.
Well, my feeling is this. You saw his expression, how determined he was, the grit. Will this have a carryover effect? Will it be infectious? How rare is it for a starting pitcher that will show the way for a team that desperately needs to put last year behind them and get in the postseason with a win today? This is such an important game. It's so rare that you have a starting pitcher show the way to a ball club. I think his determination yesterday will carry over today, and it'll be infectious. And I really feel that the Mets are going to come out swinging the bats and getting out to a quick lead.
And yet, here we are exactly in the same position as last year after John Main's extraordinary effort on that final Saturday of the season. And the Mets came out on the final Sunday, even with the Phillies. And Tom Glavine gave up 7 runs in the first inning.
Well, I will say, though, coming out of that Saturday game, it was more like, whew, we got through another day. We're still in it. Instead of, I think yesterday was an amazing performance. It's not better than John's. John's was amazing, too. But you feel like this team, the way it came out hitting, by the way, I know it only scored a run in the first inning, but it came out determined to win that ball game. It only scored 2 all day, but it seemed like they had it all day long because of Santana. That being said, Oliver Perez, he's up and down. You Met fans know that you never know what you're going to get. He could go out and throw, the same kind of game. That's how good his stuff is. Whether he does or not, under this kind of pressure, he's been prepped for it with that game in 06 and the 7th game against the Cardinals. But today is as big as any playoff game.
And so Oliver gets the ball today against the Florida Marlins, hoping to do what Glavine couldn't last year and get the Mets at least another game here tomorrow. Another guy who knows all about championships will join these two champions. Darryl Strawberry joins us here in the Ralph Kiner broadcast booth. Ralph will be here later as well. We'll be right back.
Select Sector Spiders are ETFs with a different spin. Select Sector Spiders are unique ETFs that divide the S&P 500 into 9 sector index funds. Select Sector Spiders. Visit us on the web at sectorspdrs.com or call 1-800-THE-AMEX now.
And did you see what she was wearing? Ew. Wanna play?
Hey, come on, let's go for a ride in the new Caravan.
America's best-selling minivan, the all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Bringing families together like never before.
You're not so bad, Bobby. It's Billy. I knew that.
Now during the Shop Till You Drive event, current Chrysler lessees can purchase a 2008 Grand Caravan SE for just $199 a month.
SNY.TV, the latest info and great features with original content.
Welcome to Nissan Postgame Extra, exclusively on SNY.TV.
Exclusive interviews.
From the right side of the plate, you've been unbelievable this year.
Game highlights.
Delgado hits one deep.
And the best insider info with our network of New York team blogs. SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Presented in part by the Village Poorhouse. Check it out today.
Time, lease the Lincoln MKX for only $399 a month.
He's struck him out. The Mets have won the World Series, and they're jamming and crowding all over Jesse Orosco. The dream has come true. The Mets have won the World Series, coming from behind to win the 7th ball game.
Memories of Shea indeed. We're in a rain delay here at Shea Stadium. A rain delay brought to you by Select Spiders. Latest word we get is that they're expecting to start today's game at 2 o'clock, which is about 38 minutes from right now. So we'll have a chance to chat with some of the guys who are here for the final day at Shea Stadium. They came in on the red carpet a little bit earlier, and they'll be going out on the field after this game is over. And Darryl Strawberry's here. Didn't we just do this?
Yeah, we did. We did in the city. We're going to do it all the boroughs. Now we're hitting Queens.
Watching the video of the last out of the '86 series, I guess, you know, for anybody who was part of that team, that's number one in terms of a highlight here at Shea. But what about thoughts about this place disappearing in a few days or a few weeks? Isn't that odd?
What do you think, Straw?
Well, I think it's kind of strange, you know, but it's time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new era, you know, and you look at baseball and you look at all the other teams that have new ballparks, and, you know, you're finally getting a new ballpark, you know, here, you know, for this ball club. And there's a lot of great memories out there, you know, on this field here for us. I know for myself, Keith Ronnie, I think we took a lot of pride in, you know, what we did as players and the intensity level when we ran out on the field, and the fans. I think the fans meant more to us than anything, because we play for our fans.
You know, nothing against Honda, but we was driving a Honda and there's a Bentley in the parking, you know, in the driveway. So, you know, that's the ballpark's going to go away. And I think you're right. You know, when you look at teams that have gone past here, and the '69 team, of course, is beloved. I don't think there was ever a team that had a connection with the fans than those '80s teams, because they built up. And I think when you look at Met teams in the past, it might have been the only team really before the wild card where he had sustained success. And I think the fans got really...
We had some incredible success. I mean, when you look back on it, you know, I was thinking about it. You know, I've been thinking about it all week because I've been at the ballpark a couple of days.
Yeah.
And, you know, and just walking through and just thinking about what it was like in the 80s and the excitement. And,
know what you have to do.
It's a big difference in what it was, you know, today than what it was then. You know, the electricity in the ballpark. Because you remember when Doc Gooden was pitching.
Wow.
That night, you know, you got 45 plus, and you remember the guy who was up in the corner there with the K corner. Right. And every time Doc got 2 strikes on somebody, he started running, and the fans get up and they clap, and it was just, it was crazy. It was unbelievable. You know, just a group of guys we played with too. The way we kind of strutted on the field, our personalities, and with Keithy.
He was up too late last night, I think. I do think that we thrived playing here at our ball club in the 80s. It was really a 10th man here with the fans, and we're not just buttering up to you folks. It was true.
Right.
The stadium was electric every night, and it really invigorated us, inspired us. And we really, really loved playing here in front of the folks, and that's what I'll remember most.
Yeah, because you remember, I used to remember the fact that we think about teams that were coming in here and they had to face us. You know, they hated the curtain calls. We knew we were going to get those if we did well. But just the fact that they'll be lucky to come in here and win one game. We were talking about a 3-4 game series, you know, remember, Ronnie?
Yeah.
You remember some of those bus trips we used to talk about what we were going to do. But I won't talk about them on air right now.
Thank God.
There's the two pitchers. Saw Oliver running around, and now Scott Olson, the left-hander. Talented young left-hander for the Marlins.
Ronnie, you mentioned pre-wild card, and, you know, sometimes the 86 team and that whole era, it takes a little heat for only winning one world championship because everybody expected you guys to be a dynasty. But if you think about it, if the wild card had been in effect, you might have been in the postseason 5-6 years in a row and had a chance for more than one.
The only year we didn't was when the record was over was '89. We wouldn't have, but you know what? But we would have been fighting for that wild card, and I think we would have bested them. So you can look back on that, but that wasn't the way it was. There was two divisions. If there had been 3 divisions when we played, we'd have won the division every year. But that's 6, 7, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, it's water under the bridge. I do think, though, that all of us here that were on that team really feel that we should have won 86, 87, and 88. And for whatever reasons you want to look at, you know, we didn't. And that's all that matters. But I think that was our window to shine. But
we lost in 88. Well, we lost in 88 because Bobby Oak cut his finger off.
That's right. I hope he's more careful today. Look at those stats. Storm in with the Mets. That's pretty darn good.
You know, I never think about, you know, my personal achievements here. You know, I always think about the fact of, you know, now that it's all over and you look at it, you think about the group of guys that you play with. I mean, because it's only a short window, you know, that you have a chance to win and be successful at this level and get it done. And we had some opportunity. I mean, we won in 86, 88, we came close. We never should have let the Dodgers beat us. Sosa hit the home run off a Doc. Come on. You know, we think about those things, you know. I always think about, you know, the group of guys that I had the opportunity to play with in my major league career, especially here. You know, I had some great guys that I were able to play with. And, you know, Keith, I always talk about it, but I learned so much from Keith because he taught me how to hit left-hand pitching. There's no question. When you come to the big leagues and you're young, and if you listen, you know, and I finally got to listen. I was stubborn, and Keith will tell you, I was hard-headed at times, but he taught me some things that I needed to know about facing left-hand pitching and hitting left-hand pitching. And, you know, a little bit later on in those years in the 80s, I realized what he was talking about, and I started doing it, and that's when I started having a big year.
You know, it's really basically a little bit of an oral history. I mean, what I imparted to Darryl, Lou Brock imparted to me, and Lou Brock got that from Frank Robinson. Because when Lou told me to get on top of the plate against left-handers, he said that's what Frank Robinson does to right-handers. And Frank told me early in my career when I was struggling to get on top of the plate. And he said that his success came against lefties because he moved on top of the plate. Imparts it to me and imparted it to Darryl. So it's kind of like an oral history handed down from generation to generation. It's all like baseball lore. It's quite fascinating.
Darryl, with all the former Mets that are here today for the final day at Shea, listening to just about everybody, you hear a common theme that they really are pulling for this team to get into the postseason. And I find it interesting that even after all these years, guys who played for other teams still feel that kind of connection, that they you know, feel as though they want this team to experience that kind of postseason glory.
Well, I think we all do. That anybody that's wore a Met uniform, you know, and know the history here in this ballpark, and this ballpark is coming to an end, they have an opportunity for a great day today, you know, because this is the last day of Shea, and you got the history of the players coming back after the game, and the celebration could just be phenomenal. And when you really look at it, if they go out and take care of their business, don't worry about Milwaukee, don't worry about what else is going on. Their job has to be done on the field today. Go out there and give it your all, play the game the way the game should be played, and you got a chance to win a ball game, and you set yourself up for a good situation. You know, might be a playoff game or not. As long as you get the win today, that's the most important thing, and that's what they have to realize.
What a present for the fans it would be, too, on the last day.
Yeah, that'd be great.
A double dip, really. I mean, because it's going to be an emotional time after the game today with all of you guys participating in the post-game ceremonies. You got guys who are coming back here who haven't been here in a long, long time and who have been badly missed, who are going to be part of that post-game ceremony. And I think that will be emotional in a melancholy way. But if you can have that celebration that goes with it, that would be something else.
Darryl, one question. Your most memorable hit here at Shea, the one you're most proud of? Obviously, it's a clutch hit. Did one come to mind?
I think of, you know, the ball game we playing Houston Nepper. You know, I got a 3-run homer to tie that ball game up, and Lenny comes back and winning in the 10th
with a home. Right?
Yeah. I mean, we were down, and, you know, it was just the thought of, you know, what I've learned over the years, get a pitch up, you know, and he hung one up, and, you know, he left it up there, and I got a great swing and it tied it up. We were down 4-1 at the time, and it tied it up, made it 4-4, and we went on to win that ball game. So that was a big ball game for us. in this ballpark.
And I made that day for you because I was responsible for giving up the 4 runs.
That's how
to put us behind.
Hey, but you know what? But that's okay. We were all used to that. We all used to picking each other up. It didn't matter. One fall, we pick up the other one.
That's right.
Thanks, Daryl, for stopping by and having a great time today. A very special day here at Shea. Daryl's going to leave, but Mike Piazza will join us when we come back as Oliver Perez gets set for the big game today.
Select Sector Spider. Visit us on the web at sectorspdrs.com or call 1-800-THE-AMEX now.
Pop the top, then go in the new all Jeep Liberty with an available Sky Slider roof or the only 4-door convertible out there, Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. Both with an available GPS navigation-equipped MyGig system and 5-star frontal crash test ratings. Open one up and have fun. Only at your Jeep dealer. Have fun out there. Jeep. Now during the Shop Till You Drive event, current Chrysler lessees can purchase a 2008 Wrangler X 4x4 for just $259 a month.
Who do you like today?
I like a horse who can really cook.
I like a horse with the classic European breeding.
I like a champion.
I like a strong favorite.
I like making an easy score.
I like a classic performer. I like this is a great place for bachelor parties.
I like the jockey with a style.
Who do you like today?
Who do you like today?
Who do you like today?
Tuesday, September 30th is opening day at Meadowlands Racetrack. Then, this Friday night and every Friday night, we're giving away $2,000 in free gasoline cards.
Nissan set out to create the perfect on-road vehicle, and in the process, created a category. Introducing 2 crossover leaders from Nissan. The redesigned Murano, awarded as an IIHS top safety pick, and the versatile Rogue, named 2008's best new small crossover. Lease the 27 MPG Nissan Rogue, just $229 a month. Don't follow the leader, own one. At your Nissan dealer now.
Lopez wants it away.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
We're back at Shea, where the skies have brightened, the pitchers are warming up, some of the players are loosening up, and we'll have baseball in about 25 minutes as the Mets and Marlins play the final regular season game here at Shea. By the way, I know you've hit other home runs other than the one.
I was going to say, I can't remember any of them now. I've seen that one so many times, but no, that's funny.
How's this weekend for you, being back here and getting together with all the guys?
I think it's great, and I was making a joke before I got here. I said Shea haunts us to the end. It's like it's the most important game of the year.
Yep.
And a rain delay. And I just remember, like, talk about Todd Pratt and memories. I just remember Steve Phillips or someone coming in saying, "We're on in 40 minutes, guys." After about 3 hours of rain, it's like there's a dome over this place as soon as the game starts.
Kevin Elster was from Orange County. He used to call this Lake Shea. Every time we'd land at LaGuardia, it'd be raining. So, we're going to Lake Shea.
Well, there have been moments over the years when the stands have shaken here. I think no more for me than during the playoffs against the Cardinals in 2000. I've never witnessed this place as loud and as scary, just in terms of the stands rocking, as that were during that series.
Those were great games. I mean, it was the one game we had like 6 straight doubles, and just, I mean, Mike Hampton just, totally dealing that series in the first game with John Stearns and, off Darryl Kyle, actually. It was funny looking back. I mean, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, and just watching him pitch and all that, he had a great curveball. So, for me, it's like the way the time is just, I know it's such a cliche, but it's just like the time just flies. I mean, I saw you guys on TV the other night about 86, and I remember as a kid watching that series against the Astros and thinking about, I was in high school, and I'm thinking, it's just amazing.
22 years for that.
Yeah. How did it go? Where'd it go? It is crazy, man.
Well, you've got to have certain moments here that mean more to you than they do to other people. Are there things that you take away, the small things that we may not know about?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's such an amazing. We were talking the other night about just the energy and the pressure, and just for me it was like. For me, it's funny coming up to bat and being so nervous and not trying to let the pitcher know that I was nervous and saying, I can't hit a ground ball here. I can't hit into a double play. I can't. And actually coming through or getting a walk and going, whew, like I'm off the hook, or, just kind of times where I wasn't very confident and being able to come through in situations where I wasn't feeling 100% and kind of just, all right, I bought myself another day. Now I got to get it right, type of thing. But to me, it was just incredible. But it was from a deep, good place, wanting to make everyone happy and being able to come through in a big event, get a big hit, and then have that elation, just kind of like a weight lifted off your shoulder, which, like I said, is you can't duplicate in any other ballpark. As far as I'm concerned.
You two have a lot in common in that, in many ways, you were the piece that kind of changed the puzzle. You came over here with a very young ball club and were the final piece in getting this thing started in '83. And in many ways, in '98, when you came here, was kind of the same thing. You made this team relevant again. Do you remember those first few days after you got here?
Yeah, I was very, very nervous. I mean, and it was very awkward, too, because I was in Florida, and then I came up here, and then our first trip was to Florida. So I actually went into the side house to get the rest of my stuff. And it was just kind of like, it was surreal. I'm like, I was with the Marlins, now with the Mets, and then I'm here. And then the first day coming here was like this whirlwind day. And I never caught Al before. And then I caught one of his cutters, almost broke my thumb in the bullpen. And just like, I'm thinking, oh my God, now I got to wrap it up. How am I going to hit? It was just, and I'm like, how did I get through it? It just pure faith, just fortunate to have the energy and be blessed with the ability and come through and focus and just want to succeed so bad that you're willing to do anything to do it. It's really a cool thing.
When you first came here, your first year from the Marlins, you struggled for quite a while.
Yeah.
Was it tough making the adjustment? Was there a difference? Obviously there is, but tell us your adjustment, how it was for you to come here, and you struggled to have that kind of pressure. You were coming like the savior, and you struggled for a bit.
Yeah, I struggled, actually, but I struggled driving in runs, because I remember I always laughed because they kept saying, well, he's hitting 350, but he's hitting 150 with runners in scoring position. Right. So I would get a couple of hits, and then it would be seventh inning with two guys on, I'd roll one over and get booed. And then I had to kind of really convince myself, saying, okay, I'm getting a couple scratch hits, but that's not good enough. And I knew that my job was to get that big hit later on in the game. So for me, that was something, kind of getting through those nerves and saying, all right, those two hits, I mean, I want to get my hits, no question. But when the game is on the line, I'm expected to get that big hit. And when I finally started driving in runs later on that summer, I was like, this is my job. So I had to kind of do some soul searching and say, no, it's not good enough, even though I was, hitting average-wise pretty well. But I just remember going, well, I'm the only guy in the world that they say runners in scoring position. Right. I would go home and go, like, read the paper, crumple it up. So.
You know what's funny is that Keith and I, when we lived in the city when we played here, it was very rare for a New York Met to live in the city.
Yeah.
And I know Mike is, you still have a place there. That's unique in this town, living in the city and playing here at Shea. How was that at the beginning?
No, it's true. I mean, everybody that I knew lived in Long Island or Bayside or somewhere that was more convenient. And yeah, I said to myself the same thing. Like, probably like you. I'm like, well, I'm in New York City. But then when I sat in traffic on the LIE, I was like, what the heck am I doing? So I kind of, as much as it was great being in the city, I said, maybe I should be around here. But no, it was. And I think the fun is, like you guys were saying, it is fun to watch. Because of the Yankees' presence and everything they've accomplished, it is fun to kind of be a little bit of thorn in their side and watch the Mets become a force or recognizable or excitable and watch people start to get on that Mets train a little bit. Yeah. And the Yankees are the Yankees. I mean, it's really, really tough to compete with them because of their championships and whatnot. But it is fun when people get excited. Yeah, this is a Mets town. This is a National League town at heart, and kind of go through that sort of thing. And we had some battles, too, the Subway Series. Yeah. And that was the thing for me, too, was always like, I always wanted to do well in the Subway Series because I knew it was such a stage. And I always felt like I was locked in there. And, obviously just drove in a ton of runs and had big hits in those games. And those games were like, that's what the city stood still, and everyone got into that, too.
You mentioned getting booed, and I think that's something we don't talk a lot about. It's got to be so difficult personally to be able to get past, because this is a town where if you don't perform well, obviously you're going to get booed. We all know that. And some guys just seem to deal with it, and some guys don't. How did you deal with that? Because you had the option after that season. You could have walked away, but you decided to come back despite the fact that you got booed.
I wouldn't lie. I'm definitely as honest as I can be. You do get a little hurt. It does hurt your feelings. And for me, I always just kind of went into my shell, and I try to do everything I can to focus myself and realize that it's not personal. That deep down inside, I tried. Maybe it is, but no. Deep down inside, I know that if I could turn it around, that would make the struggle that much, significant in a way, and something that you could live through. So it does. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You are sent. I mean, we're just like, I guess, artists in a way. If you do something and someone just says, "Oh, it stinks," you're going to be hurt. Right. So I don't think anybody who says that getting booed doesn't bother them is I think, lying. Yeah. But I think it's how they kind of get out of it, or at least focus to try to get you right. And that's, to me, I was like, okay, I'm getting booed now and this really stinks, but I got to get myself right and hopefully make them cheer. And so you just let it go.
Kind of an instant town, though, because you get the instant gratification when you do well. So it's, nothing's free here.
The highs are higher and the lows are lower.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, and trust me, I played in San Diego a few years ago, and it was a great experience. I mean, it was a change, and it was actually something that I needed, because after 8 years, I was a little bit, I don't want to say burned out, but it was just kind of like you're exhausted. Yeah. And I said maybe I needed a little bit of a change of scenery just to kind of see if I had anything left in the tank. You go out there, and the weather's great every day, and the people are laid back. But I did miss it, because I remember I got like a couple of big hits. I was like, where's the curtain call? I hit like and it was so funny. Mark Grant, who's one of the play-by-play guys out there, he said, give the big guy a curtain call. When I watched the TV a little later, it was like crickets, you know what I mean? So that was, and it was still kind of cool, though. I mean, it was fun for me out there, and the guys were good. And it's like, I'm sure with you guys, it was about the guys, too. We had a lot of cool guys we played with, and we always had a good time. And so if you don't like coming to work, if you don't like who you're working with, it really is not a great situation.
Agreed. You had quite a core with Robin and Fonzie and Olrud. I mean, that was just a great group of people in addition to ball players.
Oh, awesome. And Fonzie, I think, was and me personally, one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated player I've ever played with. This guy got so many clutch hits for us. And even the 3-run home run in the inning against the Braves, he had a great 2-strike hit. And I remember walking up going, the pressure's off me now. We're tied. Yeah. So if he would have got out and we would have been 1 run down, I would have been tight. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he actually got a great 2-strike hit. I'm like, well, the worst I could do is, we're going to get out of this inning with a tie. So I actually felt a little energized going in there. But he got in the playoffs that year, that he got
the grand slam in the first game against Arizona.
Exactly. That was 99, and then 2000 against the Cardinals. He had that 1 2-strike hit. He just sat there and let the ball travel and just played, great 2-strike hit. Yeah. I mean, I said they're going to throw him a curveball with 2 strikes. He's going to flick it into right center. He would do it all the time.
And always a team player. He moved, changed positions. Yeah. Whatever was best for the team.
And just his personality, was like he really didn't care about getting hype or play. He just wanted to go out every day and be a steady presence, and that's what he was. So you got to have those guys around you to really take the pressure off you in a way. And that being on a great team, it's like, you're going to get your hits, and Straw's going to get the big home run, but what about Wally getting the guy over, or the pitcher getting the bunt down and doing those things? And good defense, to me, is important too. You gotta field your position and get those outs, and you can't give away outs at this level. And we had great defense in those teams. And even though we didn't have a lot of firepower as far as the prolific lineup, but we could catch the ball. I mean, Jay was great in center field, and we had a steady bullpen. Guys would come in and get outs. We knew even Armando's got this sort of remember for the games he didn't win, or didn't save, but he still was a good presence. But I feel good out there knowing he's going to nail it down 90% of the time. 95.
Turkle out there 9 days in a row. Mike, thanks very much for being with us. Great. Look forward to seeing you out on the field after the game today. Mets and Marlins getting close. The last regular season game at Shea. We'll be right back.
Technology Select Sector Spider. Visit us on the web at sectorspdrs.com or call 1-800-THE-AMEX now.
limited time, lease the Lincoln MKX for only $399 a month.
When a major hospital wanted to add on to their benefits package at no direct cost to the company, their very first word was... Find out more at forbusiness.com.
And did you see what she was wearing? Ew. Wanna play?
Hey, come on, let's go for a ride in the new Caravan.
America's best-selling minivan, the all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Bringing families together like never before.
You know, you're not so bad, Bobby. It's Billy. I knew that.
Now during the Shop Till You Drive event, current Chrysler lessees can purchase a 2008 Grand Caravan SE for just $199 a month.
Well, we're just moments away from the start of the last regularly scheduled game at Shea Stadium as the Mets and Marlins get set to do battle in game number 162. The Mets tied for the wild card lead, ready for the final day. Right now, let's take you to the Shea public address announcer, Alex Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome international recording artist and actor, Grammy Award winner, Marc Anthony.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over land of the free and the home
A rousing performance of our national anthem by Marc Anthony. The final day at Shea as we get set for baseball. Game just a few minutes away, and we thought we'd take a couple of moments to talk with a guy who's been here right from the beginning, and it's only appropriate that on this last day at Shea Stadium we have Ed Craneful with us for a couple of moments. Eddie, you go all the way back to the first days of this stadium, and here we are on the last one. You're going to be out there on the field after the game. What are you going to be thinking when you go out there?
Well, it'll be the last time, I guess, I'll be out at Shea Stadium. I was here at the beginning when we started in '64, and obviously my whole career was at Shea Stadium, so I'm disappointed. You know, obviously there's time for change, and the new stadium looks beautiful, but like Casey told me back in early '62 at the All-Star breaks, take your records with you. And I have all the records here at Shea Stadium, so I'm going to miss it. This is a great ballpark for me, and the fans have been so loyal and great. How bad can it be?
Well, '69 was a year that is cemented into everybody's memory. But take me back to '64. What was it like here in that first year in the new stadium?
Well, the new stadium, we came here with a lot of anticipation. You know, obviously out of spring training, we didn't have a great ball club. We still were rebuilding. And, you know, we didn't know what to expect, but we knew we had a stadium. And, of course, we got here, and, of course, the plumbing wasn't working the first day. The seats were awful colors. I think the lower seats were all yellow. You couldn't see the ball off the bat. But you know what? You still liked it because, and you love being out here because this was your stadium. We had a sellout crowd. We played the Pittsburgh Pirates, and, of course, they beat us that day, I believe.
Well, the plumbing wasn't working the first day, and it's leaking today, and nothing's really changed in 45 years.
Well, we had a lot of leaks back in those days. You know, it could be position leaks also. But we struggled, and of course, we built up the ball club through our own farm system, and we kept adding players. You know, Ron Sabota, Buddy Harrelson. You know, Jerry Kuzman was in the farm system. Then we got a tremendous break. You know, drafting. After the Atlanta Braves screwed up, Tom Seaver, who was a franchise pitcher, a great pitcher, guy that we knew when he went out on the mound and he had his rest, you would know that they weren't going to score a lot of runs. For instance, if you went into a game like today, I want Seaver out on the mound because what are they going to score, 2 runs? I mean, you got to score 3 runs by accident with this offense the Mets have. So you didn't have to worry about going to the bullpen in the 6th inning. He was out there for the duration, and I'll tell you what, check the record that Tom had. Big games, I wanted him and Kuzman out there.
Well, you grew up in the Bronx, so you knew all about the other team in town, going to Monroe High School. What's special about this stadium and these fans that's different from the other side of town?
Well, I think when you saw the Yankee Stadium, and I was a Yankee fan growing up in the Bronx. I had the choice of the Giants, Dodgers, Yankees. I love the Yankees. But we have, in the beginning, the average guy came to Shea Stadium. We had the old Brooklyn Dodger fans and Giant fans. They were the real baseball fan that came out here. That's why sometimes when you get in the playoffs in the World Series here at Shea Stadium, you get an executive crowd. During the year, you get the guy that comes to the ball game, who spent his money, you know, and it's getting tough for him right now. And he comes out with his family, and he loves the game. They follow you all over. They worship you. I mean, nobody will let us forget the '69 World Series. I could walk down Manhattan now, and I guess, you know, this ballpark must have held 1 million people that day because everybody was at the ballpark. They all had the sod and everything else. You know, it's been great. These people know the game of baseball. You can go in the stands, shake a few of these guys up, and they can manage. They know the game. They've watched a lot of ball games. They know when to bunt, when to sacrifice. It's not like some of these fields. You go down to Houston or some of these other ballparks until the stadium says clap, the people wake up. You know, here they'll let you know good, bad, or indifferent. When you play well, they're there. When you're bad, they're going to get on your case.
Eddie, so good to have you here.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Ed Kranepool joining us. Now the Mets and the Marlins take center stage on the final day at Shea. All the action coming up.
Healthcare Select Sector Spider. Visit us on the web at sectorspdrs.com or call 1-800-THE-AMEX now.
Who do you like today? I like a horse who can really cook.
I like a horse with the classic European breeding.
I like a champion.
I like a strong favorite.
I like making an easy score.
I like a classic performer. I like this is a great place for bachelor parties.
I like the jockey with a style.
Who do you like today?
Who do you like today?
Who do you like today?
Tuesday, September 30th is opening day at Meadowlands Racetrack. Then, this Friday night and every Friday night, we're giving away $2,000 in free gasoline cards.
So, I just moved into the city. I got a new job. I moved into the smallest apartment ever. I still can't get around on the subway. Well, at least I don't have to worry about my new health plan. It's a no-brainer. It lets me see most of New York Magazine's best doctors. My doctor's even kind of cute. Sorry, gotta go. That's my new boyfriend.
And did you see what she was wearing? Ew. Wanna play?
Hey, come on, let's go for a ride in the new Caravan.
America's best-selling minivan, the all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Bringing families together like never before.
You know, you're not so bad, Bobby. It's Billy. I knew that.
Now during the Shop Till You Drive event, current Chrysler lessees can purchase a 2008 Grand Caravan SE for just $199 a month.
And so the mantle passes from 45 years of Mets who have played at Shea Stadium through Johan Santana yesterday, and now to Oliver Perez to keep the Mets and to keep Shea alive for at least another day.
Well, I'll tell you, quite a lot of pressure on that young man, number 46, Oliver Perez, but he's been here before, 2006, 7th game against the Cardinals. Outstanding game, always remembered, of course, for the Endy Chavez catch.
Well, amongst all the celebrities here today, all the names from Mets past, none bigger than the franchise number 41, and how appropriate that he pulled down the number for the final regularly scheduled game at Shea Stadium. Tom Seaver and Mr. Met on the same page.
I didn't know they were that friendly.
It's a day for sentimentality.
There we go. There we go.
And Tom getting a thunderous ovation. And I think it's only appropriate that on the final day at Shea, the banners are out, because after all, Met fans became known very early in Met history, first at the Polo Grounds and then in the early years here at Shea for their bedsheet banners, and that begat Banner Day, one of the most creative and memorable promotions the Mets have ever had.
I was just seeing that sign. The first one we had, I gave my best years here at Shea. That's the appropriate one for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably so. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, it's time to get it on.
Well, the crowd reaction yesterday from before the first pitch was fantastic. There was a playoff atmosphere here yesterday, even more so today, and so much on the line here. And you know, you don't know what's going to happen between this moment and the next 3 hours. But so much is on the line for this team, for their legacy, for this franchise, in addition to the fact that they're going to be closing the old ballpark. And there isn't a guy who was here last year, I'm sure, that doesn't feel the weight of that right now. Here's your Ford starting lineup for the Marlins. The one key change is that Hanley Ramirez is not playing. Cameron Maybin is. Maybin, the rookie that they got from the Tigers in the Miguel Cabrera-Dontrelle Willis trade, has had a fabulous start with Florida, playing for the first time in this series. But Alfredo Amezaga will be at shortstop and not Ramirez.
Well, Oliver Perez, 10-7 record in those 33 starts. 16 no decisions for Oliver, as he's pitched better than that record. He's kind of tumbled down, though, the last few games. He'll have to pick it up today on 3 days rest.
And the Rico Mets defense, you see the changes in the lineup from yesterday. You got Castro behind the plate today with the left-hander on the hill. Nick Evans out in left field. And boy, Ramon Martinez, we talked about him yesterday. He's been in the middle of things as far as his last 3 or 4 ball games. He's at second base. What a job he's done. Who would have thought it?
Met fans getting their final look at the old ballpark in Queens, and all Johan Santana can do today is be a cheerleader. I asked Jerry Manuel before the game today whether in an all-hands-on-deck mode is Santana down in the bullpen. He said, "No, you trying to get me in trouble?" He said, "I'm trying to survive here." Santana has done all that he can do for the moment, and now it's up to Perez and his mates as Oliver faces the Marlins for the 6th time this season. He has 3 wins and 2 no decisions against Florida this year. It's the first time he'll be facing the 21-year-old Cameron Maybin. 28 at bats for the Marlins, hitting .500. First pitch is up and away for ball 1. So the game delayed 51 minutes by rain. There are the numbers for Oliver against the Marlins this year. And a swing and a miss at a fastball, 1-1. What about the nerves for Ollie today?
Well, I think you should see him take a deep breath after he missed that first pitch for a ball, and took a big deep breath and said, let's throw one right down the middle, take our shot. And I think once you get the first out as a starting pitcher, then you go into getting the hitters out. But that first out is always key.
Maybin fouls it back, and it's 1-2.
Maybin, one of those guys that legitimately a 5-tool player.
Maybin had back-to-back 4-hit games for the Marlins last weekend, and you can hear this place exploding from the first batter. And the breaking ball in there for a call, strike 3. That's the first out of the day.
Backdoor slider, perfect pitch, framed nicely by Castro. Maybin down.
Beautiful pitch on the outside corner right there, Ron, after 4 straight fastballs.
And Jerry Davis behind the plate, a good veteran umpire, the right person and the right place.
John Baker hitting number 2 in the order. Baker 2 for 7 in this series, getting another start against the lefty. He went 0 for 4 against Santana yesterday. Baker takes ball 1. So you've got rookies hitting 1 and 2 in the order for the Marlins today. Marlins well remember that they took the Mets season away from them last year. In the air to shallow left. In comes Nick Evans. 2 out.
Catches some nerves on that fly ball. I mean, an easy catch, but we're talking about Nick Evans, who was in Binghamton all year.
From Double-A to playing in the last game of the season for all the marbles.
26th major league start for Evans, and playing a key role today. So Ollie's retired the first 2. Now Jorge Cantu, who's just 2 for 17 lifetime against Perez. And Cantu hits it hard to the right at Reyes. No 7-run first inning this time. A 1-2-3 opening inning for Oliver Perez, and the Mets have come to bat against Scott Olson with no score.
Somebody who's taught me a lot in my life is obviously my parents. Grew up in a pretty strict household, so learned to live by the rules, and gave me the foundation that I have now.